Look at that one. We've never seen one that big. That's a big tomato. It's the size of my hand. That would be a good tomato sandwich. Look at all these yellow ones.
Yeah, those are the Napa. Hey guys, welcome back to Mayfield Ranch. We just thought we would give you an update on the harvest this week. So this is 1 week worth of veggies that we're harvesting from our garden. So we'll take you out and kind of just show you what the garden looks like. Here's a bunch of our cherry tomatoes just growing like crazy. We've got these all over the place. So we'll just show you around the garden. You can kind of see how we're producing so much food. We're starting to get long beans back here in the animal garden, but look, we've got bugs on them. I'll try to show you guys a different angle. You can see a little bit better. I don't know if these are aphids. There's definitely ants here. Not sure what that is. So this is our first long bean and it's just covered. Now this tomato, this one's pretty cool. This is one of our orange accordion tomatoes and it's finally ripe. It's nice and orange. It's super pretty and we're going to pick it and we'll test it out later in the house. But we are getting a variety of tomatoes out of the garden, even though we do have some weeds. And the donkeys, of course, are out here right behind the animal garden waiting to get a snack. So as we harvest everything, we definitely share with all of our animal babies so that they all get a snack. Cora, what's Cora doing? So all the animals are sure to be out here when we're working in the garden because we often give them like weeds and just extra treats. Gary will usually just come out here and kind of pull the weeds along the side of the garden. Half go to the goats and Charlie, and the chickens kind of share depending on what they get. And then a bunch of it goes to the donkeys too. So now we just try to give all the tomatoes to like the goats and the chickens. They enjoy that. And the donkeys get more of the greens. But we try to share and they sure love it. Now most years we usually get like a ton of zucchini and yellow squash, and that's one of Charlie's favorites. But this year, these guys have been enjoying a lot more cucumbers than usual. So they're making do, and they seem to be just as happy eating all our extra Armenian cucumbers. So in years past, I've showed you this part of the garden. This is like our raised bed kind of near the greenhouse part of the garden. And really a lot of what this is seeds, but I planted this one sun sugar tomato like super early in spring, and it's really kind of been neglected, but it is absolutely covered in tomatoes. So I'm harvesting that and we're getting quite a bit from it. Now in our backyard garden, this koozie is new for us this year. We've got a couple of fruit growing on it there.
These are Armenian cucumbers. They're pretty good size, I would say.
This is one of our giant pink banana squash. We've got a few of those growing. We're actually harvesting one this week. We harvested one last week, but quite a few of those growing, and they make a really great replacement for pumpkin if you like to use pumpkin. This is 1 week worth of veggies that we're harvesting from our garden. How long do you think we were out there, babe?
We were probably out there for about an hour and a half. I was pulling weeds and picking what I could find, and it seemed like a lot of it was hidden underneath the plants. So we found a bunch of cucumbers, and the only thing we're lacking right now is jalapenos. We found a few, but they're starting pretty slow this year, so hopefully they start picking up.
So we were out there a couple hours, like Gary said, harvesting all these veggies. He was pulling weeds while I was harvesting a bunch of this stuff. So we got another giant pink banana squash. We got one last week too, if you guys watched our video last week. So we're kind of just harvesting this one at a time. A ton of Armenian cucumber. I must have missed a couple last week because some of these are over 3 feet long. And they're just huge. So maybe the animals will get them. We'll see. Good morning, Charles. Here you go, bub. Here you go, Charlie boy. Yellow squash, some zucchini, a bunch of our lemon cucumbers. We've got our eggs. Now that's 2 days worth of eggs. I just washed them all this morning. Tons of cherry tomatoes. So we've got our big cherry tomatoes.
And how about those pineapple tomatoes? Those things are huge.
Yeah, we got some sun sugar tomatoes. So those are my favorite, the orange ones, the sun sugar. Those are really good. But just a ton of tomatoes. We got some Jersey Devils. We're having a little trouble with blossom end rot. So I'm not really sure. It's our first time growing them this year. But the pineapple tomatoes, like check that one out. It's huge. It looks really good. We got one of our accordion, like our orange accordion tomatoes, a bunch of beefsteak tomatoes. We've got some delicata squash.
We have a ton of bell peppers, banana peppers, our lemon cucumbers right there, the round yellow ones. Then we have our yellow squash right here, which is good with some rice and teriyaki sauce.
Yeah, he
A little
likes
bit
it
of chicken.
like that. So we kind of share with you guys each week. Sometimes we do garden tours and what we're getting out of the garden. We've got some green beans, some long beans. So a fair variety. Each week it's a little bit different just depending on what's ready. I don't have as many long beans because last week we didn't pick our long beans. So I did pick them off the plants this week and just laid them out. We'll probably just use the beans for seeds next year. So those should start producing again. They produce more if you keep up with them. Last week we were a little busy, so I didn't get to the long beans. But as you can see, we're just getting a ton of food. So if you guys need to save money on groceries, or just want a little supplement, like you don't necessarily need a garden as big as ours, a couple of plants can really produce quite a bit of food for you. So if you're not already growing, I would encourage you to grow right along with us. Just get a couple pots, put them on your back patio, your front porch, and just see what you can grow. You'd be surprised what a couple tomato plants, a couple pepper plants will produce. We really like to grow squash here, but it is difficult to grow depending on your climate where you live. But for us, it's super easy, so we really enjoy it.
My favorite's tomatoes. The cherry tomatoes has been a real hit this year. We're getting a lot of them, so it's usually we take a little bit for our snacks at work, and we have a lot to give away. So we're doing pretty good on tomatoes. Last year, it was opposite. We were doing better on peppers and everything else. This year, we're doing good on tomatoes. So I think maybe the tarp or the covering might have helped the tomatoes out.
Oh, the weed fabric?
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see us put down that weed fabric, I'm going to leave a link right here to when we put that in. It's mixed. We still have weeds out there for sure, but the weed fabric is doing its job. It's just one of we, isn't doing our job pulling all the weeds when we planted the tomatoes. We just don't have the time to keep up with it, and we're okay with it looking a little wild out there. As you can see, it's not really slowing us down on the production. But check out this link right here if you want to check out the weed fabric we put in for our tomatoes. It's really a game changer. It's allowed us to expand the garden and actually grow something in that space where the weeds were just ridiculous before.
So yeah, you know that produce is very expensive at the stores, and when you buy it, it doesn't taste the same. It almost feels like when you bite into a tomato, it feels spongy. These are, when you bite into it, the juice goes all over your face. I mean, it's sweet. It's really good. There's a big difference, right?
Yep. So we're gonna give a bunch of this away. We can't consume all this. I will make some sauce tomorrow because we do have plenty of tomatoes producing. So I'll make some spaghetti sauce, put it away. We got a bunch of bell peppers. That'll go good in there. What we're not getting this year that I usually get is eggplant. So for whatever reason, I just didn't get my eggplants going. Where I did plant them, they're just not doing very well. So that's the one thing we're missing from the harvest this year. That's okay, we'll just keep notes on it and try to do better with it next year. But we've got plenty to share. We're gonna share with our neighbors, friends, and family. We just wanted to show you guys what you can actually produce in your garden in 1 week. And I would say our garden is a pretty neglected garden. So we are not out there every morning, every evening tending to our garden. If you see our garden tours, if we show you, I'll link the latest garden tour here. If you check them out, we've got weeds. I mean, it doesn't look perfect, and we're still producing just a ton of food. So don't be overwhelmed. If you haven't done gardening before, just give it a try. It's super easy, it's forgiving, and what you don't do well with, you'll learn. So here's a closer look at everything. It's quite the haul this week. As we're in summer, we're getting quite a bit each week, and our animals absolutely love the harvest. So of course we enjoy all the healthy veggies, but the animals love it. I think the only animals that maybe don't eat the veggies are the cats, and they definitely benefit from all the eggs. What do you think, Remy? Do you want one? Do you want a tomato? Okay. Do you want a tomato? Another one? Yeah. Good morning, Keeks. Good morning. Timmy, are you trying to drink Mom's coffee?
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.